What's going on, you guys? Today we are working on my 93 GMC pickup, getting ready to actually tear this thing completely down. We're going to get the hood off, fenders, core support. I want to get the engine out, basically tear the front of this truck down to the frame rails so we can get everything cleaned up and get it ready to drop in our Junkyard 5.3. Now, for those of you that are new or just stumbled across this video, I pulled that engine out of a junkyard many months ago, stripped it down, completely went through it, basically prepped it for boost. We gapped the rings. It's got a stage 3 Brian Tooley turbo cam in it, upgraded the heads, so it's got a bunch of neat stuff in it. We also fired it up on the engine stand a few videos back, which was really cool. I did that because I wanted to see the oil pressure, because I did one of those internet things, pull the relief out, shim it. I wanted to make sure I basically wanted to see what kind of oil pressure it had. And it did pretty good. If I remember, it had about 54 at idle. So, oil pressure is not a problem. But, anyways, we're going to start. I'll get you guys set up on the stand. I want to get the hood off, get ready to start tearing this thing down. My plans is to get everything out of it, basically strip this truck down to the bare minimum. Everything I don't need is coming out. We're gonna have a basic wiring harness for it. I have a bunch of plans for this truck, and I just want to make it as simple as possible, make it easy to repair if I have to on the side of the road. So we're gonna make it as light as possible, strip everything I don't need, make it as simple as possible. But anyways, get you guys set up on the stand, start by pulling the hood, and well, let's just tear this thing apart. All right, got the hood and the grill off. Now, I'm kind of going to show you why I'm pulling it apart, because you don't have to do all this. Although taking the hood off makes it easier to pull the engine. You don't have to worry about hitting it, and it just makes a lot more room for you. One of the major reasons why I want to pull the whole front end off this truck is because it's been wrecked prior to me buying this thing. So, and well, let me show you what I'm dealing with. So here's our core support, and here's a piece of the old grill. So you can see it's still attached. And the one I pulled off was the tab was about a ½ inch in front of it. So that gives you a reference on how far this is pushed back. I don't know if you can see in there, but we got really big spacers to space the headlights off to meet the grill. There's supposed to be a bolt in this fender holding it to the core support. As you can see, it doesn't line up and it is pushed back. There is this neat little extension they made to bolt the bumper up. Core support bracket down there is slightly bent, but not too bad. Looks like the bolt's bent even more. And here is our bumper bracket. As you can see, that thing is just bent to heck, and it doesn't line up with the bottom of the bumper. So that is like one of the major reasons why I want to pull the front end off this truck. I want to clean some of that up, get everything to line up a little bit better, make sure there is no other, fix what other little damage I find, but it doesn't look too bad. I just want to clean it up and try and address that. Also want to replace the front grille, because it is kind of busted up. I think because it didn't really mount to anything, it just kind of sat there and flopped. Something I should have addressed a while ago, but didn't. All I did was buy this truck, throw a big block in it, pull a bunch of stuff from California to here, and basically just drive it. I haven't really done a lot of maintenance to this thing, so kind of need to fix that, give this thing a little bit more love. And like I said, I have plans for this thing, and I just want to make it reliable-ish, about as reliable as you can make it. So anyways, go ahead and get you set back on the stand. Go ahead and get the front bumper off, get the headlights off as well, start pulling the fenders, and continue on tearing this thing down so we can get that engine out.
Style. Style is the answer to everything.
Headlights and bumper are removed. I've also gone ahead and removed our hood latch support here. Got that out of the way. Removed the external transmission cooler out and went ahead and pulled our harness through the core support as well. As you can see, I got it drooped over the side of the fender. Now it basically just attaches right here at the bulkhead on the firewall. Runs across between the fender and the inner fender here, down through that hole right here, and gets secured by a bunch of these little plastic clips all the way across. Runs back through this hole where the lights come, or the sockets come out for the lights here, and there's a ground right here. That's the only wire that comes through the front. So we got all that out of the way. I've also gone ahead and removed some of the 13 millimeters. This guy here, a couple of them that were down in this area as well. As you can see, those are gone. They're all actually just barely on there. I went ahead and loosened the front bolt in here as well, which let this guy bounce almost an inch back forward. So it was still under quite a bit of pressure from when it was hit. And that rail doesn't look too bad. It looks like all I have to do is just kind of hit it forward to be able to straighten everything out. And then I'll go ahead and probably straighten out the brackets for the bumper, fix this guy here, weld it back together, so we can reuse those parts. Most of the core support looks like I can straighten most of it out, which is really cool. Be able to save some money there. We'll just get it cleaned up, repainted black. And yeah, so go ahead and get set back up. Remove the 13s. So this is not the wreck side, so you have a 13 here. You're gonna have a 13 down here, which would be easier to remove the battery tray. As you can see, I've done that as well. So you gotta get that 13 out, that 13, this guy here, and there is a bunch of 13s. Let's see if I can get you. There we go. So here, here, and here that are attached to the core support as well. Once those are all removed, we can loosen this guy up here, which is a 18 millimeter for the bottom nut. Let's see here. Yep, 18 millimeter for the bottom nut, and it's a 15 millimeter for the top in here, in case you're wondering. So go ahead and get that one out on the other side there. Get the 13s out. Also go ahead, get the bolts out of the top here, which are holding the radiator in. I'm going to leave the radiator in place for right now. I'll get the core support out, and then I'll get the truck up a little bit higher so we can start draining the fluid. So get you guys set up on the stand and finish getting this core support off. Core support is out, and just for reference, in case you guys are going to do this on one of your trucks as well, it does help if you take these bolts out as well. That way you can move the fender out of the way to get the core support out from underneath that lip right there. It makes a difference. It does make your life a lot easier. So now you can see we got the truck up in the air. I got it up just high enough to where I can get that bucket underneath the hose. I just moved the radiator over, undid the hose, let it all drain out into the bucket to keep from making a mess. So as you can see here, all I have is dirt and a couple little spots. I managed to get pretty much all of my corn inside that bucket, which is why I wanted to leave the radiator kind of in place so I got the core support out. Then I could just move it around, because if any of you guys out there have ever drained a radiator on one of these things, either it be in the truck, S10, whatever, that little valve is in a terrible spot. Should probably put a hose on it or something. Otherwise, it just drains the bottom there and it gets everywhere. So that's what I wanted to do. Just wait, get the core support out before I drained it. So I didn't make a mess. And as you guys saw there too, I was able to pretty much get this thing back where it's supposed to be. Managed, just got the hammer in there, hit everything forward, push this back in flat, kind of straighten this piece out a little bit. Got our, see if I can get back to where you can get them both. So you can see they're fairly even. There is some slight differences. Of course, the truck is a little wonkus on the lift, but squared that off much better than what it was. It's not 100% perfect, but it is definitely a lot straighter than what it was. Everything should line up much better now. I managed to get back up inside here too to push all the metal and get most of this wrinkle out. So that's good. Once we get the engine out of this thing though, I'm gonna do some cleaning. I'm gonna wire brush it, put some corrosion protection on there, make it look much nicer than it is, because there is a lot of dirt inside this thing. Like I said, all I've done is just drive it. See if you can pick this up too. We got some suspension to rebuild. Everything is all loose. Matter of fact, the little grease zerts are moving as well. That's how wore out the suspension and steering components are in this truck. So there's another thing to add to the list. So, but that's where I'm going to end this off today. I'm going to try not to make these type of videos too long. The teardowns and stuff like that, because there is a lot to it. But once we start getting into getting that engine in this truck, start building the turbo kit and all that stuff, that's where the real fun's gonna be. So anyways, you guys, hit that subscribe button if you haven't already. Got a lot more work to do to tear this thing down. We're not gonna stop here. Everything out from underneath is coming out for the most part. Fuel system, exhaust, everything's coming out of the cab. We're gonna make this thing as basic as possible. So this is all just the start of it. But I am getting real excited, something I want to do for a while. So if it's interests you, go ahead and hit that subscribe button. If you made it this far, share this with your friends, right? Leave some comments, suggestions down below. Let me know what you guys think. Thank you guys for hanging out. Thank you for watching. Thank you for all your support. And I'll catch you on the next one.